You know how fishermen will sometimes tell the story of the one that got away, the fish that, oh, I almost landed it in the boat and then it wriggled off the line. That's kind of this photo. I don't know. I know that, well, I've heard that some people like this photo from some comments that people made. I am not a fan. Initially, I was. When I took this, I thought, man, this is really cool. But the more I look at it, the more I'm not a fan. And it's not that I'm trying to be self-deprecating. That's the whole point of Weekly 50 from 13 years ago to this day. It's just learning. And that means sometimes I get some good shots and sometimes I don't get some good shots. But as long as I'm learning, then they're all a success. So this is not, I don't know. I got to walk the line here. I don't want to just sit and like make it sound like, oh, I'm just, woe is me. I can't take a photo. I know I can take a good photo of a scene like this, but this particular one, it just didn't work how I thought it would. And that's fine. We all have photos like that. So my intention when I saw this was to get this little, I don't know what you call it, the little clump of leaves in the center, to have that in focus and then have the foreground and the background out of focus. And from that standpoint, it worked. And I also like how there's a diagonal to it. So rather than just a flat foreground, it's kind of at an angle. And that's kind of cool. But what I realized as I was editing this is the colors just don't work. And I thought they did when I took this. But the more I looked at it, the more I realized they all kind of blend together. And a big part of that is the size of the screen. So I have an old school by now it's old school. It's a 27-inch iMac. Now, if you bought an iMac, I think they only come in 24. But mine is a 27-inch iMac. And when I edit photos, I see them huge. But when I look at them on a cell phone, it's way different. It's like a fundamentally different experience. And if you look at this photo on your phone, which I imagine a lot of you are, it's just a blob of yellow. It's just not an interesting photo. And if you zoom in way close, yeah, you can see the texture on the leaves or whatever you call that sprig of, I don't know what kind of bush this is, but you see a little bit of texture, but the whole composition, especially if you view it on a small screen, it's just a mass of yellow. And yeah, there's some red in the background, some red brick from the buildings behind it on the Oklahoma State University campus. But, you know, the more I look at this, the more it's kind of an example of what not to do. And that's okay. And that's why I'm sharing it here. Weekly 50 is not just for the best photos of all time. It's the pictures that I take as I'm learning to be a better photographer. And what I learned here is that sometimes just because I think I capture something that is going to be awesome, there's other considerations that I might not have known or noticed in the moment. Like the colors here, just not the greatest. But if I were to revisit this scene in the springtime or some other time of year, maybe early in the day, maybe late in the day, I think it would be a fundamentally different composition. So it's certainly something to learn from and use as a growth opportunity for next time. And that's always a good thing.